Hi everyone, Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and in this video I will be comparing both Apple Photos and Google Photos together. I'm going to talk about personally which Photos app is my favorite and which one I think is good overall, or mainly the disadvantages and the advantages to both of them. Now, going into Apple Photos, you basically have a pretty great overall familiar look. It's been heavily updated in iOS 18. Going into the photo or into your account on the top right corner, you have your different settings. You have a search and a select button. You have your menu bar with your different settings, years, months, and all photos. And this X button here, that's just a shortcut to get to this page. Say you have so many photos and you don't want to swipe all the way up, or you have like over 3,000 photos, you just basically press on this X button and it's a shortcut to get to basically the bottom menu. Now, I don't keep a ton of photos on my devices, as both my iPhone and iPad is a 64 gig model, but I am upgrading my iPhone and getting the iPhone 14, as I mentioned in some of my videos. But as far as which Photos app I think is better, well, a lot of people didn't like the change to the Photos app in iPadOS 18 and iOS 18. But before I mention on that, we do have this sidebar. That's really nothing new, as it's been there for quite a while, ever since iOS 14. So the sidebar is in most of Apple's apps. But at the bottom here, we have an option called Customize and Reorder. If you want to make the Photos app simplified and make everything less clutter-free, then you basically just go in and deselect all existing options, and you basically have a clean look to the Photos app. But I do have it simplified, so I'll keep pin collections and utilities exactly how I have them. Now, moving on to Google Photos. What I like about Google Photos, Apple Photos does tell you how long ago your last photo was taken. I have photos that I've deleted off of Apple Photos that are actually still here from far back in 2022. So I have photos that goes a couple of years back that are not on my Photos app in Apple Photos. And I get notifications about those photos that are deleted off of Apple Photos and still here on Google Photos of how long it's been since I last took that photo. I've gotten notifications of different photos that I've taken. Like this screenshot that I took in July, I'm probably going to get a notification for that as well. I've gotten many notifications for the various photos that I've taken that mentions how long it's been, since I have photos on here that goes all the way back to summer of 2022. Now, in Apple or Google Photos, you have more options. Like you have a trash option now. Unfortunately, unlike Apple Photos, if you don't want anyone to view your trash option, as Google calls it, I don't know how you would lock this on Google Photos, but on Apple Photos, if you go into recently deleted, I really like that they put this here. Although admittingly, sometimes it can be annoying when you just want to quickly go in and delete photos, but it's not really much to it. All you have to do is either log in with Touch ID or Face ID, so no one can view your recently deleted content that you do have stored, but I don't have anything stored in there. Unfortunately, with Google Photos, there just simply isn't a way to lock that. Now, you have a lot of options when it comes to Google Photos. I don't know a ton about Google Photos other than you get a ton of notifications after a year or a couple of years of how long it's been since you took that photo. That's something that I wish Apple Photos can do, but they don't. They do tell you when the photo you have was taken. Like I took this photo in July 6th to be exact. This was on my vacation in Florida. I took this photo last year. And I'm probably going to get a notification from Google Photos, most likely on July 6th. Apple Photos, probably not. I would really hope that in iOS 26, they do an update to the Photos app, and maybe they bring it to where you get notifications on how long it's been since you might have taken a particular photo. Maybe say you went on vacation. Hopefully Apple brings that to Apple Photos. Some of my pictures, I admit, don't sync across from Apple Photos, or well, this one did. So I might get a notification that I've taken this photo. This photo was taken in Florida for my summer vacation. And most likely I'll definitely get a notification for it. So personally, which Photos app, if I had to choose, do I think is the better one? Well, I love Apple. Apple is really great, and they do have a lot when it comes to customizing their apps. While a lot of people were disappointed with the clutter, or I guess the word frustrated is a more better way of explaining it for some people. They were frustrated with this design. While me, I personally love this design, and I still do, because for me, it's easy to use. And I just love having all of these options here. I love when Apple adds new customization features, and I love to customize my iPhone in every way possible. But for some people, it was a mess to them and they did not like the Photos app. But Google Photos will notify you of photos taken over the past years, which is unfortunately something that Apple Photos doesn't do. I've probably got a ton of notifications of photos that I've taken over the past years, and the photos that I still have on here have not deleted, which I think is pretty nice. So if I have to choose, well, in some ways, Google Photos is better, but in other ways, I like the designs that Apple Photos has in it. But Google can constantly update their Photos app. But if I had to be honest, part of me thinks Google Photos is better in a way. You get notified of your different photos you've taken. Maybe you have like over 10,000 photos and you really don't feel like scrolling through all of them, and you want to get a notification of when did I last take this photo. Google Photos will notify you. Unfortunately, that is not something that Apple Photos can do. So for that reason, I do love Google Photos. But a lot of other reasons, I think Apple Photos is quite nice. Comment down below which Photos app do you like, Apple Photos or Google Photos. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. I'm Mr. Hawkins with Hawkins Tech, and I'll see you guys later.